Swenson asks, Dave, the issues you and Bill Loebs signed, how did that work? Did an authorized CGC rep witness your signing them and then transport them to Bill? No, that's not how that worked. And I'm going to be curious to find out. I hope Steve will put in the comments section and you will relay to me. Obviously, he's seen the CGC graded issues that Bill and I signed. Were they signature series? Did CGC make them signature series? I faxed over to you one of the authentication certificates I did for one of the Power comics, hoping that CGC would allow that as validating a signature series book. I'm validating that, yes, I got this from Bill Loebs with his signature on it. Here's my signature on it. Here's a little color picture of the cover so that you can see that the signatures are on there. I was hoping that they would make them signature series in that case. And the way that it worked was Mike Jones, who was Bill Loebs' assistant, phoned and asked, would I be willing to sign some books that Bill had signed and that they were going to get graded. And I said, sure, that's no problem. There was no CGC rep who witnessed Bill signing them, and there was no CGC rep who witnessed me signing them. But yeah, I was happy to do it. Mike, at some point, is coming up here to pick up the rest of the Journey comics that we've still got in inventory, and I'll be happy to sign all of those for him, and he can take them and get Bill to sign them, and then they can get those CGC graded.
I'd have to look at the video they did. I thought it was a yellow label or a gold label. But maybe...
Right.
CGC... I follow Todd McFarlane on Twitter, and Todd retweeted a tweet from CGC that Todd was at, I want to say Diamond, signing a giant stack of a new Spawn comic, and CGC was there to witness it. And when you bought the issue, it came with the witness form, so you could send it in to get it graded as a signature series book. And I responded to Todd's tweet going, so how exactly does this work? And I never got a response.
Right.
But presumably CGC will allow, because I was told by my local comics guys I talked to that do CGC stuff that as soon as it gets witnessed, you have to send it in to get it slabbed, or else they consider the witnessing to be worthless, and it gets the purple label. And I'm going, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, if their witness is there, you know, I get why they want the book right away, but like if you're a creator and you sign 1,000 books and they witness you signing 1,000 books, you know, if you sell the book with the certificate, somebody should be able to send it in and get it graded as a signature book. So I don't know if maybe because it's coming from Bill to CGC, they're like, this is a signature series because it's coming from the creator, so it obviously has to be the creator's signature.
Right, or at least the likelihood is so high that you can't even consider that it wouldn't be. The same as I think a bunch of the old Kamiko people signed Johnny Quest copies that they had, and it's like, well, okay, what's the likelihood that somebody would sit down and try and figure please slab this with the book in the back of the book, so that if it's not a signature series, then at least it's got the certificate in there. And I don't think that that's something that they would do or something that they were interested in doing. This sort of follows on to Steve asking, have you considered hosting a CGC rep for a signing? Something of that nature. No, I really haven't. Actually, one of the few guys in Southern Ontario that is authorized to witness signatures is Alfonso at Studio Comics Press. So it's not as if it would be impossible to do, and I'm not gonna commit to this, but I can't see why it wouldn't be possible for people to mail books to Studio Comics Press, Cerebus books that they want signed, or Dave Sim books that they want signed, and when one of them comes in, I'll just get Rolly to take me up there with him when he's going up on a Thursday, and just sign the book. Alfonso can witness it and then send it back to whoever it is, and we would figure out what that was worth to drag Dave Sim away from the off White House, so he can sign a book up at the Frederick Street Mall and then come back down here.
$10 a letter.
Pardon me?
$10 a letter.
Yeah, I never know what to do on that. It's like it's no big deal once you get there, but it is one of those. I'm 65 years old and I'm trying to finish Strange Death of Alex Raymond and keep up with Cerebus in Hell and the weekly updates, and please hold for Dave Sim. Signing books for people is not really a top priority for me unless I'm doing it through Dagan or something like that. You're right. I have a few books I'd consider sending your way. Unfortunately, not my 4 authentic #1 copies. 4. He's got 4 of them. Which I sent to CGC just a few months ago. It would cost too much to do it all over again. Thanks as ever for your time. Sometimes you see, I've seen in the Heritage catalog, people who have signed slabbed books. Like they sign the case, or they sign the top of the case where the description is. I don't know what that does. What do you suppose that does? If you sign the case, does that devalue it?
Do you have to get it re-slabbed in the case?
No, that's what I'm saying. Some people don't do that.
Well,
so forget it. I'm not re-slabbing it. Can you just sign my slab for me? And as most of us figure out at conventions and signings, it's a lot easier to just sign whatever somebody wants you to sign than sit there and argue with them. So I didn't work on that, and it's like, just sign the book. You'll spend more time explaining why you're not going to sign the book than it'll take you to sign the book.
That was 20 years ago around, maybe slightly less. I was going to the Chicago Comic-Con every year for like 5-6 years, and one year I found the Shadowhawk action figure from McFarlane Toys for like $3. So I bought it, and Jim Valentino was there, so I had him sign it. And of course, he's thinking I'm going to keep it in the package and put it on a shelf, so he signs the actual plastic that the toy's in. And I'm like, well, no, I was going to open it and play with it, and if he signed the card, I'll keep the card. And it was one of those, I thought about it for about a month going, do I open it or do I not? Do I open it or do I not? If I open it, do I save the plastic? And finally, I opened it and went, yeah, I should have left it in the package. And I threw the package away because, it's worthless now.
I don't know about that. You could be the only person that has a genuine Jim Valentino plastic.
Well, not anymore. It's been, like I said, 20 years.
And it's probably worth millions by now.
Well, that's
this genuine Jim Valentino plastic Shadowhawk wrap. Everybody else has their Shadowhawk signed or their cards signed. You're the only guy that got a signature on the plastic. Millions, I tell you. Millions of dollars you threw away.
You know, it's that kind of mentality that leads to hoarding, and then when people die, someone comes in and goes, "What is all this crap?"
And somewhere in the crap, there's something that's worth millions.
Well,
literally billions of dollars, but you overlooked it because you're just not sophisticated that way.
So,
or unsophisticated that way. You don't know your lowbrow culture like you're supposed to.
well, so my friend who got me into service, Nick, his uncle's neighbor, and I understand this is already starting to sound like a made up story, but I swear it's true. His neighbor bought this house that a hoarder lived in. And the hoarder had 2 houses in town, and he was at the other house, and the hoard fell over and killed him. So the neighbor buys this house with everything in it, and it turns out that the roof of the house leaks. So every time there's a really heavy rainstorm, the house sort of flooded. So he's cleaning out this house so he can gut it and fix it up and flip it, because that was his intention, was I'm going to buy this house and flip it and make money. And it turned out that no, you're not going to make a dime. But in the house, part of what this hoarder collected was VCRs. And he's got like 100 of them, including back in the late 70s, Sears had their own brand of VCR video recording system. It was a console TV with the player built in. You'd go to Sears and rent the movie, come home and watch it, and there was no rewind. Once you watched the tape, you had to take it back to Sears, and they had a rewinder there. And my friend Nick is telling me, the guy, not only does he have the console TV with the recorder, or with the player built into it, he's got the rewinder. And I'm going, well, okay. I mean, it's an obscure home video technology that I've never heard of. I mean, it can't be worth that much. And my friends go, well, you don't understand. The rewinder was at Sears, so it's worth hundreds of dollars in good condition. I'm like, is this in good condition? No. It got flooded a couple times. But then I'm on Twitter, and somebody's talking about this obscure format, and there's an eBay auction for the TV with the player in it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I click the link, and I'm like, free local pickup. And I'm like, nobody's going to do that. And then I'm like, it's located in town. It's the one that my friend's uncle's neighbor is selling. I'm like, I'm on Twitter going, I live in town. If anybody wants to buy this and arrange to pay me to store it so you can come pick it up, I will do this for you. And nobody's responded.
And there you go.
But yes, somebody's useless old crap is worth something to somebody. Or as I said yesterday, one man's trash is another man's object that needs to be dusted.
Right. So what did it go for? Did you follow the auction to find out how much the thing
I haven't gone back to look to see. I think the buy it now price was like $1,000.
Wow.
Because the TV is probably as big as your desk. Like
right.
the desk in the square office. Because it's a huge 1970s tube TV.
Right.
And there are collectors. The problem is, as the guy on Twitter was saying, because he's a collector, it'd be worth buying to own it and say you own it, but it wouldn't be worth buying to put the money into it to fix it up so it works, because the tapes didn't age well, so even if you had a tape and you used it, it would probably break and never be usable again.
Right. And you really can't take it back to Sears to get it rewound.
Well, that's why you have to get the rewinder.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Unbelievable, but I heard it from you, so I will take it at face value.